Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about how promo cards have always been overpowered and how I think maybe the Hall of Legends are making us feel as though the game design for the cards within Splinterlands has gone greater and greater out on the power curve spectrum. But maybe it's just really that these are promos. These legends are amazing. They're exceptional, as were the predecessors with probably Eleanor Bravefoot, Night Stalker, Rune Arcanus, and Rick Loudonmon. These cards are amazing, but it didn't start in the last 6 weeks or 8 weeks with these legends. If we look at the old promo cards, some of these are the most amazing cards in the game that have abilities that were unique or particularly powerful even today. Some of these cards are the best of the best, and it's not because power creep's getting out of control, but because promo cards are themselves necessarily overpowered by design, I think. And so we're going to talk about that because it might have a conversational piece around what we can expect with respect to Conclave. Do we expect Conclave to essentially eliminate the requirement or the need for rebellion? I don't think so. And maybe we can learn something from the promo cards in that conversation. If that sounds interesting, stick around. Let's get into it. These promos show where the team's mind is for the next set. I think why not you're suggesting that the promos like the legends that are quite powerful point you towards believing that the new Conclave will be really powerful? I'm not sure I agree. And I'm not saying I think they'll be underpowered. I think the promos, generally speaking, promos are usually overpowered. I think I could make an argument for that it's not really about the team moving closer and closer to overpower creep. I think it's actually a case where promos are generally speaking broken. Like let's look at legendary promos. We don't need the max button. Let's go alpha. These are alpha promos. These are just copies of existent legendaries within the alpha. So that's okay. Chromatic Dragon. Chromatic Dragon at the time was pretty crazy. For a dragon summoner to have 7 and for flying, enrage, piercing, and thorns. Enrage and piercing, by the way. Remember we talked about that? This card it's now not anything special, but at the time it was pretty crazy. Oh yeah. That was just a beta. Okay, we gotta just focus on the promos. I was trying to think of like promo, but I want to see it like from like old to new. Can I do this? Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at promos. The Shinlo is a promo from Alpha. That card's nuts. For 1 mana for it to do 2 damage, and there's literally 87 total cards in the game. I think there might be 1 or 2 of the gold foils. But then we go into beta. These are great. Corrupted Pegasus to this day is an exceptional tank heal on the death team. Tank heal, flying, reach, strengthen. It's such a good card. Even to this day, if you've played Wild. Lord of Fire. I used to have this card and I sold it. I didn't think highly of it, but then Jodin came around and this is look at this. Strengthen, silence, affliction, shatter. Like what a crazy support. Silence, strengthen, shatter, and affliction. Like that is such a nice support monster. And it does a little damage all for 3 mana. Minotaur Warlord. Look at this kit. Now it is susceptible or vulnerable. It has no shield or whatever, but it has blast damage with a 5 bomb and for 8 mana. That's a huge damage output for 8 mana. This doesn't get a lot of play, and I'm not saying it's powerful today. I'm just saying these were, when they were released, for like people like these were crazy. Red Dragon. Look at that multi-attacker. This might maybe the first multi-attacker. 1 magic, 4 melee, flying, return fire, heal, and 11 hit points. That's crazy. Archmage Arius with +1/+1. Prince Julian was, I don't know. I don't. Okay, 2 mana, but I'm gonna say that. Yeah, that one doesn't fall into the same overpowered place, except for the 2 mana. Sure, and the scarcity. Oh, and then I want to look at Untamed. Dricken was an Untamed. I always forget that. 1 mana with the Scavenge, Trample, Flying, and Enrage. On the rule set where this thing can get equal hit points and where opportunity, it can attack from a different position, that's a really good card. But the prices are ludicrous. Ludicrous. And Chain Golem, I slept on this thing. I used to think it sucked, but it does not. Shield, Void, Piercing, Stun. So every level, every time, Blight, Constantia, Vega, Zyriel, maybe Waka, a little questionable. But like, would you say the average of these cards is that they are overpowered? I think that would be, if I had to say all those legendaries, would you argue within the context in the moment they were released that they were overpowered, yes or no? And you can't say, well, hey, this and hum that, and yes or no. You're going to say yes. On the whole, promos are overpowered because they're promo cards. They're supposed to draw excitement and attention and dollars. And generally speaking, yes, we've seen power creep in the different sets. If we move away from promos and we just try and look at, chaos versus older cards, you're going to see power creep. That's necessary and unavoidable. But I don't agree if your suggestion was that they're going to be really, there's going to be huge power creep with the new Conclave set. I don't know if I believe that. I think there'll be some power creep. I think promos are what we're seeing the power creep in right now with those legends. And that is not a fair sample size because these cards are always overpowered. Like generally, historically speaking. I can't believe Rick Launamon is out now. What's Rick Launamon selling for on the, probably still roughly the cost? There's only 1,200 BCX of this card. And it's so good, dude. Oh, I wish I could have bought that one. But why? How is this thing already, like it's less than it sold for? It was sold for 50,000 DC a unit, and you had to buy 11, or buying 11 gave you a max. But right now I can buy for essentially a 10% discount on that. I do not get it. I don't know if I would want, oh yeah. This is such a good card too. Expose is so helpful. The double strike's so helpful. The ambush, crazy. The charge, like this kit is synergistic.